Digital trends, fads versus reality. In this chapter, we will discuss the major trends shaping the digital revolution. It is hard to predict the future, but there are certain trends that are pretty clear right now. First, let's paraphrase a couple of relevant quotes from a famous American management guru, Peter Drucker. The only thing we know about the future, it will be digital. The best way to predict the future is to digitize it. The paraphrased quotes are spot on. There is no reason to believe that digitization efforts will be abandoned or even slowed down. We know by now that digital technologies will only become less expensive and more powerful over time. We also know there are still too many manual processes that have an adverse effect on our productivity. In general, there is a marked increase in the demand for people with digital skills such as copywriters, graphic designers, video producers, social media managers, online advertising specialists, and data analysts with great communication skills who can work effectively on teams. Let's discuss the digital trends from two perspectives, consumer and business. We will start with consumer trends first. For each trend, we will identify the skills needed to succeed in that activity. Social media took us all by storm. Facebook has about 1.2 billion active users around the world, and it completely disrupted traditional media. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest are household names. Social media provide an invaluable service connecting families, friends, and business associates around the world in ways that were impossible just 10 years ago. At the same time, they carry tons of noise, trivia, and banality, but that's largely the fault of the users and not the platforms. If you are in politics or entertainment, run a B2C or business-to-consumer enterprise, or you are an opinion leader, you ignore social media at your peril. Skills required are digital marketing, copywriters, graphic designers, PR professionals, online advertising, superior written and analytics skills. The decrease in hardware, software, and telecom costs has led to proliferation of smartphones, which themselves are powerful computers with GPS capability. As mentioned earlier, in 2016, around the world, more people own smartphones than toothbrush or toilets. Smartphones originate over half of all internet traffic and searches today. Over 65% on emails are being opened first on smartphones. We are just glued to these devices most of our days. The smartphone boom is partially responsible for putting pressure on a lot of businesses to adjust to mobile technology on small screens and new possibilities related to GPS. For example, to send a coupon during lunchtime to all people near my restaurant, as well as new payments and loyalty program methods. Local B2C businesses are being forced to redo their websites, shift advertising from desktop to mobile, accept mobile payments, and roll out smartphone-based loyalty programs tied to their points of sale systems. This is a lot of work. The importance of mobile presence and payments is demonstrated by these two examples. Home Depot announced in 2015 that it would spend $1.5 billion to improve its supply chain and other back-end systems related to mobile ordering. This is a lot of money to make sure that the customer can buy things with just few clicks on their phones. Another example is Hilton Worldwide, which is investing $550 million to serve its guests in their mobile moments and transform its entire customer experience. Mobile payments are already a reality, and I would expect that in 5 years they will be as popular as paying with credit cards now. Also, mobile cash is more secure than actual cash, which has a positive impact on small entrepreneurs in underdeveloped countries especially. We expect that in 5 years, speech recognition software will be in everyday use. Skills required here are user graphical design, mobile apps designer, augmented reality designer, analytics, and hardware design. The shift of power to customers has been brought about mainly by mobile social media. Customers can learn about, compare, discuss, and evaluate products and services anywhere at any time at no cost. Retail customer expectations have been raised by the ease of use of smartphones, one-click checkouts, and the ease of repetitive ordering, for example, Amazon Dash button, as well as friendly email notifications and reminders. Now customers expect a similar experience in all their digital interactions. This is probably the most impactful trend for the next 5 years. A poor customer experience almost guarantees failure, but creating a good one could be very expensive. Just ask Home Depot, Disney, or Hilton hotels. However, as technologies become less expensive, the pressure will only grow for every organization to provide a seamless, hassle-free experience in all aspects of digital interaction. 5-star type evaluation systems are here to stay, and they will expand to all products and services. Adopting a consistent rating systems allows for quick comparison and will put even more pressure on every business to manage their reputations more expeditiously. Skills required: strategic thinking, knowledge of business, knowledge of customers, user interface design, analytics, and software design. Speech recognition is reaching 90+% accuracy on leading platforms such as Amazon Alexa. Voice controls are very natural and highly desirable interfaces if they work well. As voice recognition advances, it will complement traditional computer and phone inputs. Other than obvious convenience, speech recognition is crucial for everyone whose hands should be free or functional. Drivers, first responders, police, military, construction operators, and people with disabilities. With better voice recognition, smartphones and social media will be used even more extensively, as folks will be able to engage safely during long commutes in the privacy of their cars. We can expect voice recognition to work with text-to-voice technologies to facilitate hands-off interaction with email, social media posts, and blogging. Skills required: strategic thinking, user interface design, analytics, and complex algorithms design. The importance of videos and pictures will only grow. Like our voices, our vision is a perfect interface to the world. Videos are processed by our brains much faster than text or audio. Promotional materials with videos convert browsers to buyers much better than the alternatives. Until recently, video production and distribution was expensive, but the price points are falling quickly. Skills required are photography, graphical design, video design and production, voiceovers, script writing, creativity, and user interface design. Pokémon Go is a great example of using digital technologies in entertainment through games. People relax a lot when they can be actively engaged and absent from daily reality for a couple of hours. Virtual reality goggles and augmented reality are perfect technologies for engaging games. Naturally, people like to form like-minded groups and compare themselves with each other. A fitness app is a perfect vehicle for that. You can set and track your goals while you're competing in the cloud with fitness aficionados around the world who you will never meet in person. Between AR and VR, smartphones and GPSs, anything is possible. Game developers are so creative that there is no way to know what they will come up with next. If today we can play a virtual paintball game shooting each other virtually with our phones while running outside, it is hard to predict what may come next. And if we combine it with robots and some physical sensors, then the sky is the limit. Maybe one of the future games will transport us to the past to virtually change the DNA sequencing of our forefathers so we can play Pokemon Go with our virtual ancestors from 4 generations back. Who knows? Let's discuss how these digital trends relate to managing a business. More cloud computing, Amazon and Microsoft cloud platforms make a very compelling case for putting all IT operation on Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. Assuming top-notch security and the right prices, any new business should have all computing in the cloud. This is harder to achieve for mature businesses with a lot of legacy systems, but any new applications could be housed in the cloud. Amazon and Microsoft are not the only players in the cloud business, but they seem to have the most comprehensive solutions, including IT support. The federal government announced Cloud First initiative in 2011 to cut waste and help agencies deliver services faster. The CIA chose Amazon AWS in 2013. Approximately 5 million people use Microsoft Cloud for government, which includes Office 365 and Customer Relationship Management Online Government. Government services are perfect to be housed in the cloud, as most of them do not involve any physical inventory. There is one barrier to full adoption of cloud services. It is the potential for a vendor lock. IT executives do not want to be dependent on a single cloud vendor going forward. We agree this is not good business. We've avoided single-threaded sourcing forever. Therefore, cloud service vendors will have to make it easy to switch between their services and support models so that IT operation can be supported by two vendors in the seamless fashion. With the current dominance of AWS, Azure, and Google, we can see just a few players controlling 90% of this market in a few years. This will be similar to the joint dominance of Microsoft Windows and Apple operating system on our desktop computers 15 years ago, or the current Google and Apple dominance of mobile operating systems when Android and iOS account for over 90% of the market. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Microsoft's case for cloud computing is especially strong for companies who already use Microsoft products such as Office, Dynamics, CRM and ERP, SQL Server databases, business intelligence tools, Skype, and Surface tablets. Paradoxically, cloud computing will lead to fewer IT infrastructure jobs in the US for two reasons. Due to specialization and economies of scale, there will be fewer IT infrastructure workers needed per number of business employees, and these fewer experts could be found outside of the US. Skills needed is IT infrastructure management, hardware procurement and maintenance, system software procurement and maintenance, databases, storage, backups, security, complex contract management, and analytics. The proliferation of less expensive but more powerful computers energized the software development community and unleashed a wave of creativity that has not yet subsided. What was unthinkable just a few years ago became not only possible, but is very lucrative too. Many young developers made fortunes developing iPhone apps by themselves. Creating mobile apps that not require heavy-duty computer science skills, as many can be developed based on existing templates using vendor-supplied toolkits. Other examples of creative software development include 3D animation brought to us by Pixar, super realistic virtual reality games, streamed video services such as Netflix, or the latest craze, Pokemon Go. In business software, there are a lot of choices among many good and relatively inexpensive cloud-based software options. They support the majority of popular processes from email marketing, social media management, content creation, CRMs, ERPs, accounting, and customer service. Today, the bottleneck is not the lack of software or its cost. It is how quickly we can absorb all the progress built into different software packages. Skills required here are graphical user interface design, system analysis and design, knowledge of business, and analytics. In many companies, the cost of professionals or knowledge workers is the single largest ongoing growing expense. Professionals are also their best assets. Increasing their productivity is of the greatest importance. Well-designed software may have a fundamental impact on the productivity of knowledge workers. Imagine financial or marketing analysis without an electronic spreadsheet, a sales rep without a smartphone and email, or a search without Google. At the end of the day, good software serves only one purpose: to do the same task in less time. Implementing good software is a must if a company wants to increase the productivity of its most expensive asset, knowledge workers. The division of labor will only intensify due to the increasing need for specialization. Businesses will partner with digital marketing agencies and Internet of Things providers. Most companies, especially smaller ones, will not be able to hire and retain the right talent. They need to find a reliable digital partner. The division of labor is also manifested in outsourcing digital plumbing to cloud computing providers. As mentioned earlier, this trend will accelerate in the coming years. Skills required: superior communication, written and verbal. Chief Digital Officer. The Chief Digital Officer has become a standard position in the executive suite. The number of CDOs has doubled from 2013 to 2013 and is expected to double again in 2015. CDOs are charged with coordinating and managing digital transformation, including building out entirely new businesses. They report to CEOs. Here's a quote from a McKinsey article. Getting the strategy right requires the CDO to work closely with the CEO, the Chief Information Officers, business unit leaders, and the Chief Financial Officer. The CDO also needs to be an active participant in and a shaper of the strategy. An important foundation for CDO to establish credibility and secure a seat at the strategy table is providing detailed analysis of market trends and developments in technology and customer behavior, both inside and outside the sector. Skills required: digital technologies, strategic thinking, causal thinking, creativity, analytics, superior communication, written and verbal. Blurring lines between marketing and IT. The lines are blurring between marketing and IT. It will become harder and harder to distinguish what belongs to marketing and what belongs to the information technology department. For example, a smartphone app for members of an exclusive country club allowing them to order meals or valet service ahead of time perfectly blends marketing and IT. The app was built to improve customer retention, a marketing goal, by a team of marketing and IT folks collaborating on this task. The new service was feasible only because of the wide availability of smartphones, and it was initiated by the marketing staff. Is this a marketing or IT project? It's really both. Online advertising and ads blocking. The very rapid decrease in hardware, software, and telecommunication costs has enabled the collection, movement, storage, and the real-time analysis of massive amounts of data. This enabled business models where the service is free and the cost of running the service is covered by digital advertisers. Facebook, Google, to name a few. This is how digital advertising was born. Actually, advertisers paid the lion's share of costs related to the digital revolution. We are sometimes annoyed with advertising online, but let's not forget their contribution to the technological revolution. They bankrolled a big part of it. Online advertising will grow due to the very high precision and low cost of digital advertising as compared to traditional methods. Reaching 2,000 prospects in a printed magazine may cost $500 compared to $75 when using social media. In addition, online ads have higher conversion rates, meaning that more people who see an ad do something about it because it's very easy to click and engage, as opposed to a magazine where you need to call or get your computer to order or learn more. Nevertheless, the quality of advertising has to change. Between 2014 and 2015, the number of people worldwide who installed ad blocking software on their mobile phones has doubled to 440 million. Over 80% users mute video ads. People are just annoyed with the aggressiveness and inconvenience of ads that obstruct the content when they want to read or watch. Imagine if all ads were to be blocked tomorrow. Google and Facebook, among others, will go out of business immediately, or they would have to start charging for their services. Actually, Google already does. YouTube charges $10 per month for content with no ads. This may become the future model. If you don't want ads, but you want the content, you need to pay a subscription fee. Skills required here: digital marketing, creativity, copywriting, graphic design, superior communication, and analytics. Analytics, analytics, analytics. Speaking of analytics, in the real estate business, it's location, location, location. In the digital world, it's analytics, analytics, analytics. We bring up this segment as the last one in our discussion about major digital trends. This is because this is one of the most consequential and significant digital skills one can master. The paradox of today's digital world is that we can collect much more data that we can utilize. Data collection costs time and money. If collected data is not used, the investment is wasted. To add insult to injury, by not using collected data, we may forego the discovery of warning signs or a great opportunity. So it's a double waste. On the other hand, the timely discovery of risk and opportunities may save a business from bankruptcy or assure profitability. We've already discussed the bank in Chicago that was blindsided by the lack of knowledge of its own customer problems. This led to the bank's total demise. On a positive note, if we can identify an upward sales trend of very profitable product in one region early in the year, we may want to order, manufacture, or distribute much more of this product to similar regions or a whole country or the whole world, assuming the same competitive landscape, to grab market share and register record profits. In the past, a lot of successful companies were built without complex analytics. A lot of decisions were made on experience, trial and error, flying by the seat of our pants, or guesstimating. This was fine as long as the competition was employing the same low-tech techniques. The business world was much less competitive and less complex. Now, with growing global competition and larger, more complex operation, good analytics can make the difference between success and failure. Our earlier analogy of a jet fighter pilot flying by the wire is relevant here. Yes, a pilot can be very experienced in flying, but it is impossible to pilot a combat jet just on human senses. One needs to react to instruments interpreting real-time data feeds coming from many sensors placed on neuralgic jet components. Flying by the seat of our pants is not an option on an F-16. Neither is in robotic surgery on eye hernias, running complex manufacturing and supply chain processings, or optimizing the electric power grid.